Today's show is sponsored by the multiorgasmicmama.com. If lack of confidence, low libido, or guilt and shame around your sexuality are the cause of your bedroom woes, the hot wild sex you never have anymore, or the transition into motherhood that sucked your libido dry, let me help you get your mojo and magnetic feminine spark back. Magic, miracles, total self-love, and multi-orgasmic bliss included. See you at the multiorgasmicmama.com. Hello, my loves. Welcome to the podcast. Today, we're talking about what to do if you are not attracted to your partner anymore, but you still love them. I do my research, y'all. I've researched all the ways that people pass off the fact that they love their partner but aren't attracted to them, and that's okay. And it really drives me nuts because some of the top Google searches that I've found when I was researching were like, oh, well, this is how we've made it work, even though I'm not attracted to him, or oh, it's okay if you're not attracted to your partner anymore. And we'll just go throughout life with having terrible sex or no sex at all. And I just want to be like, girl, seriously, that is not okay. And it's totally unnecessary. Unless there's one thing that you've got going on that I'm going to share with you in just a minute. Okay, but first of all, if you know anything about me, you know that I'm a strong, independent, powerful woman, and I don't fucking settle. And I don't think any woman should settle either. And if you are in disagreement with that, I don't know why you're following me, honestly. So, do you really have to settle for one or the other? Either you have awesome love with your partner, but the sex is terrible, or you have great sex, but the love isn't really there. Absolutely not. You do not have to settle. You can have both. You certainly can have both, even if you've been together for decades, as long as you've had that one thing that I'm going to tell you about in a moment. But first, I want to talk about what's going to happen if you don't do anything about the lack of attraction, about what's likely going to happen if you choose to settle. A few things that might very well be in your future, or maybe they're already in your present, are number one, bad sex, not enough sex, blah sex, not wonderful sex. Number two, a lack of intimacy and connection, and a lack of affection with your partner. Maybe y'all never even touch each other, or you sit down to watch TV and you're like on opposite ends of the couch all of the time. Number three, nitpicking. How often are you nitpicking your partner because of unconscious things going on? A lot of you are. We'll get to that in a minute. 4, resentment. How much do you silently, secretly resent your partner? Well, that's probably happening if you don't have attraction for them right now. 5, the worst case scenario here is that you could end up having an affair, and you're very likely to have an affair if you don't do anything about it. Well, hot mama, you don't have to settle. So let's talk about 3 questions that I want you to ask yourself that will help you move through the issue of not being attracted to your partner. And then we will talk about possible solutions. Does that sound good? Cool. All right. The first question I want you to ask yourself is, am I attracted to anyone? It's important to get clear whether this has anything to do with your partner or not, because if you are attracted to other people, then at least you have that clarity. And if you aren't attracted to anyone, well, there could possibly be issues with medications that you're on, like birth control, depression, or anxiety medications, or other lack of desire issues that I have talked about extensively already on the podcast. Okay, so are you actually attracted to anyone? Get clarity on that first. The second question to ask yourself is, if you are attracted to people but just not your partner, then ask yourself, am I trying to push attraction that's never been there in the first place? Have I ever at any point in our relationship liked my partner's natural smell? If you liked them and were attracted to them in the beginning, then that is wonderful because that means that you can regain attraction again. It's not that it's not there, it's just something deeper is going on inside of you. However, if you have never, not once, liked the natural smell of your partner, well, I am sorry to inform you, but you cannot. You cannot change biology. If you've never liked your partner's smell, then you never will. And there's literally nothing that you can do to change that. You are just not biochemically attracted to your partner. And there's nothing that a sex therapist, a sex coach, a counselor, ain't the best sex therapist in the world could help you here. If you don't like your partner's smell, there's nothing that you can do. You might be in the relationship for other reasons, such as co parenting, or you are in love with that person, but you're just not attracted to them, or for whatever other reason. But if this is you, then what you really need to be asking yourself is if you want to be in the relationship or not, and how important is sex to you? Is it worth it to you to remain in the relationship even though you're not attracted to them? Well, I can't answer those questions. And obviously, I have my opinions about them that I will share with you later. But the point is, if you've never liked your partner's smell, you can't do anything about it. You can't change it. If you have at some point liked their natural smell, then I want to say yes, 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 yes for you. This is a very good thing because it's totally possible to rekindle attraction and desire if you have at some point. If this is you, then the third thing I want you to ask yourself is it physical attraction or emotional attraction that I feel is missing? Super important to distinguish between the two and to really assess your needs. If you're physically attracted to your partner but lacking desire, then that means you need to work on the emotional aspect of your relationship. And if you're emotionally attracted to your partner but not physically attracted, then you need to work on the physical aspect of your relationship. So let's dive into a couple of things to do if you are not physically attracted to your partner, but you have at some point in your relationship liked their natural body smell. Number one, maybe they have gained a lot of weight. Maybe they have let themselves go since you first got together and they look totally different than when you first met this person. What needs to happen is to have a freaking conversation about it. I know this is a conversation that's not going to be easy to have, but it is literally for the sake of your relationship. So it is important. If your partner has let themselves go since entering the relationship and it is a huge turnoff to you, that, it makes you not attracted to them anymore, then you either need to find ways to support them and their self worth, or you need to decide if this is the kind of relationship you want to be in anymore. The truth is, people give up on themselves all the time, and people break up all the time. If your partner has let themselves go and is unwilling to do anything about it, is that someone that you really want to spend the rest of your life with or not? It sounds harsh, but it is a super important question to ask yourself. For me, I'm absolutely not okay with a partner that doesn't prioritize their health, their personal development, and their self care, because that is a total turnoff for me. And it shows that their self worth has diminished in a way that is not attractive to me anymore. So it's important to support your partner in their self worth. But if they're not interested in helping themselves, well, you can't make someone do something that they don't want to do. You can't make someone care about something that they honestly just don't care about. So what you need to do is determine how much of a deal breaker is your partner's lack of taking care of themselves. And please do not let your caregiving tendencies get in the way and start nitpicking here, because your partner will either want to improve themselves or they won't. And guess what? Your nitpicking about it is not going to suddenly make them want to take better care of themselves. It is just a matter of priority and what's a deal breaker for you or not. And it's not the end of the world if you break up because your partner really doesn't take care of themselves. Because How much is that holding you back? Really, I want you to ask yourself that question. If you are with a partner that is not into making themselves a better human and taking good care of themselves, how much is that holding you back? And the second thing that you could do, if you are not physically attracted to your partner, but you have at some point in your relationship liked their natural body smell, is ask yourself, am I really emotionally satisfied, or do I hold silent resentment toward my partner? A lack of emotional connection and resentment will certainly kill attraction, my dear. So, if you haven't worked through those things, then working with a sex and relationship coach, such as myself, to work through the resentment, the vulnerability, and the intimacy issues is so important. Most women must be emotionally connected before they will feel physical attraction and turn on toward their partner. So I want to encourage you to get real and ask yourself if you're really emotionally satisfied or if there's room for improvement. And if there's room for improvement, you're working on it could certainly rekindle attraction again. Now, if you are physically attracted to your partner but lacking desire, then you need to work on the emotional aspect of your relationship. There are two ways to do this. There's a way to do it within the relationship when you have a willing partner who's willing to work on it with you, which a lot of times that's not the case. Or you can do it solo yourself. And honestly, in my opinion, the solo work is the most important and the most effective. So if you want to work on the emotional connection with your partner because you have a willing partner, some things that you could try are to learn tantric sex together as a couple. There's literally no better way to create more emotional intimacy with your partner than to learn tantric sex. It's the most beautiful, exquisite, emotionally connected, intimate sex there is. Like that's what tantra is, right? The second thing is to learn communication containers that allow you to feel safe opening up more than you have in the past. There's always another level of honesty and intimacy and vulnerability that you can have with your partner. And then the third thing you could do is to learn couples breathwork practices together. And the fourth thing you could do is to learn tantric connection practices together. And those could include breath work too. Now, a lot of you are probably like, well, I have no idea what that is or what that looks like. What is that? So, couples breath work and tantric connection practices are things like things as simple as eye gazing to as complex as doing a primal ritual together. Like it can be many different things. It can look many different ways. Some breathwork practices could mean that you're taking your sexual energy, cycling it up your body, breathing it into your partner's body, and then breathing in their sexual energy and doing all these amazing connection practices that really help you drop in and feel intimately, emotionally connected to your partner. But if they're not willing to do that, then you need to work on your own intimacy and vulnerability blocks and then come to understand why you've attracted a partner who's not willing to do that with you in the first place. It's sad because I talk to a lot of women that say, well, my partner isn't willing to do this with me and I really, really, really want them to. And, it's a sore spot for me. And what I want to tell them is, well, okay, can you take responsibility for that? And a lot of us don't want to do that. We don't want to, it's the mom thing. Like, well, we already have enough on our plate. Why should I have to be the one to do everything in the relationship? Why should I have to be the one to take the steps or to reach out to the sex coach or whatever? And you know what? If you're the one feeling it and you're the one wanting to move forward with it, then oh well, who cares that you are the one that wants to improve the relationship? But if you have a partner that's not willing to do that, there is a reason why. And it is your responsibility to uncover why you've attracted a partner who's not willing to go there with you in the first place. Personal responsibility, people. All right. So we just went over a lot in a short amount of time. So let's do a recap here. If you are not attracted to your partner anymore, then I want you to ask yourself these three questions. Number one, am I attracted to anyone? Number two, am I trying to push attraction that's never been there? Have I ever at any point in our relationship liked the natural smell of my partner? And number three, is it physical attraction or emotional attraction that I feel is missing? Then, if you are not physically attracted to your partner, but you have at some point in your relationship liked their natural body smell, then you can do these two things. Number one, have a conversation with them about their lack of self care, self development, and how they let themselves go, and how that's affected your attraction for them. And then find ways to support them in taking better care of themselves. And if they aren't willing to do that, then you need to assess if that relationship is worth staying in. And number two, ask yourself, am I really emotionally satisfied? Do I hold silent resentment toward my partner, or am I really just kidding myself? And if you are physically attracted to your partner but lacking desire, then you need to work on the emotional aspect of your relationship by either learning tantric sex together if they are willing, or if they're not, to work on your own intimacy and vulnerability blocks and come to understand why you have attracted a partner who's not willing to go there with you in the first place. And if you've never liked the smell of your partner, well, baby, I am sorry to say, but you are shit out of luck on that one. And if that's you, then you really need to determine how much great sex is important to you. And if it is, then you need to have a conversation about it and potentially leave the relationship. So, are you ready to move forward in rekindling attraction and desire in your relationship? If that's something that you would like my support with, all you need to do is head to themultiorgasmicmama.com and you can fill out a coaching application on the coaching tab. And in that application, you'll be asked a couple of questions, and I will then reach out to you to set up a call to talk with you about the different options of working with me. There are more than are just on the website, so just keep that in mind. All right, mamas, thank you for joining me, and I will talk with y'all next week.